Hi, I am Sarangdar, and this is the demonstration video of task 4.2c. In this task, we are doing the dependency injection and decoupling. The purpose of this task is to existing our database independently. It means if we change in our code, so if comes any error, it should not affect our database or table in the database. Let's start with the coding part. First is the map.cs file. In this file, this code defines a map class in the robot controller API namespace. The class represents a map with properties such as ID, column, rows, name, and all. These properties store information about the map, such as its dimension, name, description, creation, modification date. Additionally, the class includes constructors to create map objects with specified values for these properties. The constructors allow initialization of a map with provided values or with default values. Next is the robot command.cs. This code defines a robot command class in the robot controller API namespace. This class represents a command that a robot can execute, such as moving or performing an action. It includes the properties like ID, name, description, is move command, create date. These properties store information about the command, such as its identifier, name, description, whether it's a move command, and creation modification dates. Additionally, the class includes constructor to create command objects with specified values for these properties, allowing for initialization of a command with provided values or with default values. Overall, this class serves as a blueprint for the creating command objects within the application. Next is the program.cs file. In this code sets up the web application using the robot control API persistent namespace. It creates a builder object to configure the application's services. The add controllers method adds controller services to handle incoming HTTP requests. Then lines are commented out which previously added data access services using the robot command ADO and map ADO classes, but are now replaced with the robot command repository and map repository. These changes likely involve switching to repository pattern implementation for the data access. The build method finalizes the configuration of the application in the environment is development. It enables a developer exception page for debugging purpose. Then it configures the application to use HTTPS indirection authorization and map controls to handle incoming requests. It starts the application to listen for the incoming requests. So our next is exists extension method.cs. In this code we define an extension method called map2. The extension method class in the robot command controller api.persistence namespace. This method is used to map data from the npg data reader object to specified entity type T. It utilizes the fast member library to access and manipulate object member efficiently. Inside the method, it checks if the entity parameter is null. It throws an exception. Uh, if so, then it creates a type accessor object using the type of the entity. It retrieves the properties of the entity and converts them into a hash set for the faster lookup. Next, it iterates through the field of the data reader and matches them with the properties of the entity. If a match is found, it assigns the corresponding value from the data reader to the property of the entity. Finally, it handles cases where the value from the data reader is null. So, next file is the imapdata.access.cs file. This code defines an interface called map data access in the robot controller API persistence namespace. This interface declares four methods related to data access operation for maps: get all maps, update map, from map, update map, insert map, map new map, and delete map int id. These methods provide a contract that concrete implementation must adhere to in order to interact with map data in the persistence layer. The get all maps method retrieves all maps, update method updates an existing map, insert add a new map, and delete removes the map by ID. And the same method is here for the robot command. We are the interface declares four methods related to the data access operation. For robot command, we are doing the same: get all robot command, update robot command, insert robot command, delete robot command, get all update robot command for the all method to retrieve, and update command for the updation, insert for the insertion, and delete for the deletion. So next is the IMAP data access. Next is the irepository.cs. In this file, the code defines an interface called iRepository. The interface declares a method namespace. The interface declares a method execute reader t that is used to execute a SQL command and map the result set to a list of the entities. Uh, the method takes SQL command string and an array of NPG SQL parameter objects as option parameters. Inside the method, a NPG SQL connection is established using a connection string. Then an NPG SQL command is created with the provided SQL command and parameters, if any. The method executes the command using execute reader and iterates through the result set. For each row in the result set, it creates a new instance of type T and attempts to map the data from the data ready to the entity using a method called map2, which is expected to perform automatic object relation mapping. However, the map2 method is not implemented in the code snippet. So our next file is the map audio imap.audio.cs. In this file, namespace robot controller dot API persistence. This line declares that the following code is part of the robot controller API namespace. Public class. This line defines that public class named map.audio with implements the IMAP data access interface. And the next line declares a private constant string named connection string, which contains the connection string for connecting to the PostgreSQL database. And this line creates a new empty list to store map objects retrieved from the database. And this line where map is equal to new, and this line creates a new NPG SQL connection object named con and establishes a connection to the PostgreSQL database using the connection string. Next is using where cmd. This line creates a new NPG SQL command object named cmd with the SQL query to select all rows from the map table in the database. And next is the using where dr is equal to cmd.executed. This executes the SQL command and creates an NPG SQL data reader object named dr to read the rows returned by the query. And the next line is while loop. Starts a loop that iterates over each row returned by the SQL query. And inside the loop, where id int, this line reads the value of the id column from the current row and casts it to an integer. And the column, this line reads the value of the column from the current row and casts it to an integer. Same here, doing in all the variables. In last, it returns. The process repeats for each row in the result set until there are no more rows to read. The remaining methods like update map, insert map, and delete map, these perform database operations to update, insert and delete map records based on the provided parameter. Each method follows a similar pattern of the establishing database connection, executing a SQL command and handling any necessary parameters before executing the command. So let's come to the next, that is map repository. Uh, in this file, this line declares that the following code is part of the controller API persistence namespace, and this line defines a public class named map repository which implements both the iRepository and IMAP data access interface. And next is the declares the private constant string name which contains the connection string of the connection connecting to the PostgreSQL database. And the next line is the empty list. This line is the empty list in the database. Public void update map data. This method updates a map in the database with the provided update map object. And next is the delete map. This line SAM insert. This method inserts a new map into the database using the provided new map object. And the public void delete map. This method deletes a map from the database based on the provided ID. Each database operates update, insert, and delete in performance within a database transaction using the NPG SQL library. The SQL commands are parameterized to prevent SQL injection attacks, and the connection to the database is properly opened and closed using the statement to ensure resources cleanup. What we do in the map adus.cs, same we are doing for the robot command.adu. And what we did in the map repository, the same thing we did in the robot command repository. So let's come to the controller part. So in controller part, firstly this line declares the following code in part robot controller API namespace, and the API controller attribute marks the class as an API controller, enabling various features such as automatic model validation and binding. And this is the attribute specifies the base route for all the HTTP requests handled by this controller. So this is the map controller class, public class that inherits from the controller base. Next is the private random read-only IMAP data access. This line declares a private read-only field of robot map repo of type IMAP data access, which represents the repository for accessing map data. Next is the public map control IMAP data. This is the construction of the map controller class. It takes an IMAP data access object as a parameter and assigns it to the robot map repo field. You can see here. Then HTTP GET. This attribute specifies that the method handles the HTTP GET request. This method retrieves all maps using the robot map repo.get all maps method and returns them as an HTTP response with the status code 200 OK. Next is the HTTP GET square. This attribute specifies that the GET square maps method handles HTTP GET request with the relative root square. And public IAction result get square maps. This method retrieves all maps where the number of columns is equal to the number of rows using link, where method and returns them as an HTTP response with the status code 200 OK. HTTP GET ID. This is also the HTTP GET request in which the public IAction result get int ID. This method retrieves a map by its ID using the robot map repo.get all maps method and links first default method, then returns it as an HTTP response with status code 200 OK. It found, or status code 404 not found. Next is the HTTP post. In this method handles HTTP post request. For adding a new map, it checks if the new map object is null, returns new bad request in response if so. Otherwise, it retrieves the maximum ID from existing map, sets the created and modified data for the new map, inserts the new map into the repository, and returns a response with the status code 201. Next is the HTTP put. This method handles the HTTP push request for updating an existing map identified by its ID. It retrieves the map with the specified ID, return a not found response if no map is found. Otherwise, it updates the map in the repository and returns a response with the status code 204. Next is the HTTP delete ID. Here public I action result delete map int ID. This method handles HTTP delete request for deleting an existing map identified by its ID. It retrieves the map with the specified ID, returns a not found response if no map is found. Otherwise, it deletes the map from the repository and returns a response with the status code 204, no content. Here HTTP get ID XY. Here public action result checkpoint coordinate function. This method handles HTTP GET request for checking if a given coordinate XY is within the boundaries of a map identified by its ID. It first validates that the coordinates are non-negative, then it retrieves the map with the specified ID, returns a not found response if no map is found. Finally, it checks if the coordinates are within the map's boundaries and returns a response with the status code OK. So we come to the robot command controller.cs file. This is also same as the map controller.cs. So we will give the overview of this file. In this file, controller class named robot controller in the robot controller API namespace. It's responsible for handling HTTP requests related to robot commands. And then the constructor, the class has a constructor that accepts as instance of iRobot command data access interface, injection and dependency for accessing robot commands. HTTP GET endpoints. GET retrieves all robot commands from the repository. GET move commands only retrieves only the robot commands that are designated on move commands. GET robot command by ID retrieves a specific robot command by its ID. HTTP post endpoint adds a new robot command to the repository. It first checks if the new command is null and if a command with the same name already exists. If not, it sets the creation and modification dates and insert the new command into the repository. Next is HTTP put endpoint. Uh, Update robot command updates an existing robot command identified by its ID. It checks if the command exists and if a command with the updated name already exists. If not, it updates the modification date and updates the command in the repository. Next is the HTTP delete. Deletes existing robot command identified by its ID. It checks if the command exists and deletes it from the repository. That's the coding part. Let's see it's working. For the working of code, firstly we will start our code. It's taking a little bit more time. So I will have to put this link in my postman localhost and its port number, that is 5282. So I will copy this from here and I will put it here. It's already here. So I will have to show the path API slash maps. It showed me all the maps. After that I will see the square. Walls are square because I put the all columns and rows are same in the all entries. And then I will check for the ID, sorry, ID number. If I give it 6, sixth number is present here. I'll give it 7, seventh number is not here. Yep, 5, fifth number is here. Okay, so next is the gate in ID number. Let's give it 5, and X column age, give it 45, and row age 37. Sorry, hyphen in between 45 and 37. So we can see its true value. If I change it from 37 to 57, that will be exceeded from its range, then it will show me the false value. You can say see it here. Next, I will post. It means I'll add a new instruction. So I will need a commands all instruction credentials to post new command. So I will keep it into post, then I will go to the body. I will put it here, and I will delete its ID because database automatically assigns ID to it. I can change it from 6 to 15, 6 to 50, sorry, 6 to 15, map 6 to map 15. No needs of these two things, so I will remove both of them. So let's see. I think I am doing some mistake. That's why this error is showing. Sorry, I didn't put the description here. That's why it was showing the error. So I will put the description here. So I will change it to 15th disk. You can see our new command is here. So let's see in our database it's added or not. I will go to the map script and select script. I can clearly see here the map 15 is added, and 15th disk 150 150 rows, and its column. It means everything is working well. Our next command is the put command. It means I have to update. So let's update the same command. So for updating this command, I need to copy this credentials. I will put it here. ID number is 15. So I want to update its name, map 15 to uh, credential 15, and description. I will write the description 15. Let's see it updates or not. Sorry, firstly I have to get to see on which ID it is putting. So we can see its ID number is 14. So I will give ID number 14 to update. I will keep it into the put. Then I will send this. It means my ID is updated. Let's check it on database. I will come to the map scripts, select script, and then execute script. You can see our name is changed, that is credential 15, and our description is also changed, this is description and it is working well. We will do the same thing for uh, robot command. So firstly I will write here robot hyphen commands to check all the commands. So we can see all the commands here. I will see the same command on the database, it is here or not. So we can see left, right, move, place, proper, zigzag and all. You can see same thing at left, right, move, place, proper, zigzag, all things are here. So the another command is get move. I want to get all the move commands. So you can see left, right, move, place, proper, all are move command, that's why also. So next command is I want to see ID number 5. You can see ID number 5 is here, ID number 4. ID number 4 is here. And next command is post. I want to post something. I will keep into the post. I copied these credentials. I put it here. No need for ID. Database will assign it automatically. No needs to these two things. So I have to change its name from right to fight, no, green, and its command will be greenish. So let's check. We can see the new command is added here. We can check it from here too, and we will show it in the database too. You can see ID number 15, name green, description greenish is added. Let's check it on the database. We can see here no command is added, that is green, its ID number is 15, description is greenish. It means it is working well. And let's put it, we will check it into the put it update or not. So I would like to update the same command, so I'll update its name. So I would like to update its name from right to green to gray grapes, and its command is run. So let's check it updates or not. Let's check it on database. So I will go to the script and select script, then we will execute. You can see here name of the command is also changed, that is grapes, and description is also changed from run. So it means it is working well. And our last command is the delete command. So I would like to delete the 15th ID. So let's see it's deleted or not. So in postman we can see it from here. So we can see 15th command is not here. If I will see all the commands, still the 15th command is not here. But if I come to the database, we can see here 15th command is not available. We will do the same thing in the map. I will go to the delete. We will change it into robot command to the map, and I would like to delete 14th ID. I will send it. We can check it from here too. 14th ID is here or not. So we can see the 14th ID is not here. Sorry, I will delete the ID 14. After that I will get it from here. You can see 14th ID is not found. 14th ID is not here. Let's check it on database. We can see it here. 14th map is not here. It means it is also working. That's all in this task, so thank you for watching.